Alright, now what's up, my movie fans? Since I'll be expressing my opinion on the 1969 version of True Grit, the beginning part feels nice, from the song that plays since the movie is considered a bit lighthearted, but movies like The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly are more violent. Alright, now getting back to my review. The dialogue, it's well written. Each scene is well done, as well as this acting. So if you ask me, John Wayne from that time, he did deserve an Oscar for this, for his performance. Even though this movie is considered lighthearted, it can be mildly tense for the viewer. But from what I recall, the 2010 version is more dark and gritty. Speaking of which, I'm gonna let you all in on a little secret. My first theatrical review will be sometime around late August. I would say August 24th. So stay tuned for that. Okay, anyway, in order to express my opinion more, Tom Cheney, if you ask me, like, he deserved to be hanged, but since he was responsible for for the murder of Matty Ross's his father, the character Matty Ross, played by Kim Darby. But I'll admit that Haley Steinfeld, like, even though she just started, like, in the 2010 version, I'll admit that her role as Matty Ross, I liked it better in the 2010 version. Now, Glenn Campbell as LaBeouf. No, I don't mean LaBeouf, but it's like saying Shia LaBeouf, but it's pronounced LaBeef. As the Texas Ranger, he's pretty good too. You can't go wrong with his character. And who could forget, last but not least, John Wayne, the Duke as Rooster Cogburn, the guy with the eye patch. The phrase in the courtroom was a good one when he says like something about like I go backward when backing away, and everyone laughed. Like that was a good one. And even though the 2010 version is more dark, I do like the original. Like, don't get me wrong, the 2010 version is good too, but in the 1969 version, like, uh, they handled it the right way by giving it a G rating because it feels more heroic like. Even though the movie's considered all ages, since I mentioned the G rating, like, it does have some like mild violence and mild language, but it's not that big of a deal. But compared to Clint Eastwood, like his early like from his early days, like, his movies are worse compared to this, regarding violence in movies. Okay, anyway. Okay, anyway, since I'm doing the best I can to avoid any type of strike on YouTube, this is my favorite part where like they where like they insult him or something like that, when one of the other characters who's hoping Cheney, Tom Cheney, I mean, like calls him fat. Like, I like how the way John Wayne said, fill your hand," and in order to avoid any bad language, I'm gonna say this: "Fill your hands, you son of a jerk." I must also warn you that the almost ending part, it's also kind of intense, like from the pit. But in the 2010 version, like, comparing it to the 2010 version, it's kind of worse than that. It's kind of worse than that. So if you're curious about how I'm gonna give the letter grade for this movie, I'm gonna give it a solid B plus, because like John Wayne as Rooster Cogburn, the Duke, I mean, in real life, I know they called him the Duke, but him as Rooster Cogburn, I thought, in my humble opinion, he did the best in True Grit. So, as mentioned earlier, he did deserve an Oscar, for his performance. But speaking of an Oscar, like I could care less about awards, like in real life. But because I notice some people like to show off an award, but that's just me. I could care less about stuff like that. Okay, before I wrap this up, like in my previous video on the good, the bad, on my review on the good, the bad, and the ugly, I'll be taking review requests. So I'll be happy to take any kind of movie requests. So feel free to DM me on either Facebook or YouTube, whatever you prefer. Just let me know what the movie's called, and I'll see what I can do from there. So so for the bottom line of the 1969 version of True Grit, I'm gonna give it a solid B plus because like it's just everything about it is just right. Like the action, the dialogue, the acting, all of it is just well written. Compare All of it is well written, even though a lot of people prefer the 2010 version because that one felt more dark. Like when I watched that one, well, it's supposed to be dark, like because it tells more of the actual story. Okay, I think that's all I have for today. So I'm done and have a good day. And before I remember, if you feel motivated to do something, then have grit.